The matchups are in, the bracket is set. Welcome in to Tourney Bracket Live on the Yahoo Sports Network. Cassandra Negley, Ice Young, Jordan Robinson, Caroline Fenton here hanging out with you for the next hour to break down the women's bracket and to answer the biggest questions. Can UConn win back-to-back championships? Can UCLA seniors capitalize and break through to win their first ever national championship as a program? All of that to come. But first, Cass, let's just start with our initial takeaways from this year's bracket.
Yeah, I think you always look at who has the toughest route through this bracket, and we have to look at Sacramento too. Yeah. UCLA is the number 2 true seed, but they pull LSU and Duke in that side of the bracket. That looks really tough to get through for a team that is hungry for their first NCAA national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Which 2 seed could really advance? Like, that's what I'm looking for. Is there a 2 seed that can get to the Final Four? I feel like earlier in the season, Vanderbilt was the one I would have picked, but how they performed in the SEC tournament and losing to Ole Miss did not give me much trust at this point in the year. Yeah. LSU obviously can score with the best of them, and so you run into a team in which it's, Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela and company that are scoring the basketball. I'm not sure if anyone can slow them down, but I tell you what, Michigan is also a sleeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. Well, I think they're in the same side as Texas, and I think Texas has the easiest route to the Final Four, to me, because that's where that SEC championship game really comes into play. You beat South Carolina, finally, in the SEC championship game.
At the right time.
At the right time. You get rewarded with a path. Yes, they might pass through Michigan, but they don't have the height to stop Texas. Mm-hmm. No one really has anything to stop Madison Booker, but I think they're in, a shoe-in.
And Texas winning the SEC championship in essentially what was a home game for South Carolina, not only earned them the number 3 overall seed, which gives them at least a clear enough path to get to the Final Four, but they also will pass through Fort Worth. So they start their tournament action at home in Austin, of course, and then they just go a couple of hours down the road, as opposed to, let's say, South Carolina, that's going from East Coast all the way to the West Coast to Sacramento. So an advantageous travel pull, at least for Texas there. But let's take a look at some of our top seeds in the tournament as we talk about some of these 2 seeds that could pull off the upsets over some of these big bag ones. Let's look at their path. We have Vanderbilt. You bring up Vanderbilt, Ice. If they want to get to a Final Four, they're going to have to get through UConn to do it. UConn looks a little unbeatable.
A little?
Just a little bit.
We might need an NBA team in here. Hold on. They look so good. I feel like Notre Dame as a 6 seed, I wouldn't want to see them. I feel like I would have problems on the other side for the potential matchups that are there to happen with an Ohio State who's a 3 seed. Right. But I really think the top 4 in each region are correct. I don't see anyone that was misseeded or slighted. I feel like all the 2 seeds earn their spots, especially in Iowa.
Yeah. Absolutely. They've been playing really well of late, too, with Ava Hyden, Hannah Stuelke. That's a good Big Ten team, even though UCLA did absolutely crush them.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan, I know there has been some conversation about the ones when UCLA went into the Big Ten tournament final and whooped Iowa, a top 10 team in the country, by 50 points.
51.
There was some 51.
We gotta get it right.
Corey, I'm sorry, I slighted you the point. 51. Thank you, Cass. 51-point victory in the Big Ten championship. That, combined with their strength of schedule, there had been some conversation. Did UCLA do enough to leapfrog UConn to get that number 1 overall seed? We learned that they did not. UConn is the number 1 overall seed. Do you agree with that decision?
I do agree. I mean, undefeated is undefeated. You have to honor that. And when I always hear the conversation around UConn's conference not being strong enough, or even the games that they scheduled outside of conference, that's not their fault. Like, what they can control, they did. They did their job. They were able to dominate teams by over 30 points, each team, each win. So, yeah, I think the committee got it right. UCLA, even though that is a little bit of a tougher path, they get to stay in California, which I'm sure they would have loved. And, yeah, I think they got it right. UConn is the number 1 seed.
Cass, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, they have that net rating, and being in the mock selection this year, you know, as you said, you can only control what you can control, and that is the schedule. You went undefeated. The fact is UCLA does have that loss to Texas, and we're going to get into this more, but they got punched in the face in that loss to Texas and never recovered. That was a not bad loss, but you weren't competitive in your loss, and that matters.
That's what Texas does. They punch you in the face, and then they punch again, and they punch again.
They keep going.
And they don't let up. Oh my goodness. I think they're my favorite team to watch this season, by far. I love what Vic Schaefer continues to do. I love their style of defense and how every year it seems like it's getting better and better and better. But their consistency, their guard play, and the veteran leadership that they have from Rory Harmon, I feel like Texas, this is the year that you could say they could win a national championship and really have all the pieces in order to do it. And I love the bracket that they're in, Jordan. I agree with you. I think in terms of easiest routes to the Final Four for a 1 seed, Texas has some very favorable matchups.
Yeah.
And I think you can attest to this, being a former player, the amount of momentum, the confidence that it can build, not just when you win your conference tournament, but when you beat a team like South Carolina, which felt like such a barrier for Texas. They just finally kind of got that off their backs a little bit, finally broke through. The magic that can create for a team as they go into the NCAA.
Oh my gosh, yes. If I ever beat Dawn Staley in my life, I would start every conversation with that. Hey, I'm
We would never hear the end of
it.
As you should.
Absolutely, but you're right, momentum. Momentum and belief, and when you're peaking at the right time, we could still argue that Texas still has a couple of areas that they could get better in postseason, but you're good enough to beat Dawn Staley in March? Tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
And going off of that, we've seen Madison Booker at her best, but sometimes when the lights are bright, she doesn't perform. And I expect different this year. I'm expecting her to lock in and really be that X factor. I mean, she is their X factor. She's a star player. But that's what it's going to take for her to not get in foul trouble, for her to hit those middies and get them all the way.
She has gotten into foul trouble so many times in these big games, including that SEC title game. I was like, is this going to be the same thing as the first time they faced South Carolina when she pulled that second foul? She does need to stay out of foul trouble.
No doubt that is going to be something to keep an eye on moving forward. But also, do not forget that you can get in on the action. Sign up to play Yahoo's Bracket Mayhem. Fill out your bracket at yahoofantasy.com/bracket mayhem. Speaking of the bracket, let's take a deep dive into the bracket, starting with Fort Worth 1. That is UConn's side of the bracket. They get Vanderbilt as the 2. They get Ohio State as the 3. And rounding out the top 4, we have North Carolina. Cass, when you look at this bracket, what stands out to you as maybe a team to watch or a storyline that really stands out?
I mean, storyline-wise, you have to look if it goes chalk. You have UConn and Vanderbilt. Gino Auriemma, Shea Ralph, won a championship with him as a player, one as an assistant coach. She leaves to take over the program at Vanderbilt. They've already signed a deal so that they play in the future. This could be a nice little tease. And we're going to go deeper into this bracket, of course, but we'll throw it out there. Sarah Strong and Michaela Blakes.
Come on.
Two
Come
of the best
on.
players
Get your
in the
popcorn.
country.
Get your
Yes,
popcorn.
the National Player of the Year candidates. Yes.
It's gonna be so good. Wait, I need that to happen, actually. I'm getting really excited just thinking about it.
It's a little prayer to the basketball gods, Do your work. Do your work.
2 Player of the Year candidates. Shea Ralph, who is probably the closest thing to Gino Auriemma 2.0, at least that we have in women's college basketball. Not only did she play for Gino Auriemma, she was an assistant at UConn for over a decade. Cass and I had the opportunity to talk with Shea Ralph just a couple of weeks ago. We asked her about how much Gino Auriemma influences her coaching style, how much it influenced her culture at Vanderbilt. She was like, it's everything. Like, Gino's DNA is all over Nashville, Tennessee. Don't you get that twisted. So when you look at some of these first round matchups, because I know we're looking at the potential UConn-Vanderbilt matchup. We're here for it. Start popping your popcorn now. What stands out as maybe a first round matchup in Fort Worth 1?
Yeah, let me talk about my Cuse and my Orange that are dancing. We're at 9 seed. On a serious note, though, I'm really proud of the way Felicia Leggett-Jack has done a good job at Syracuse. It is tough taking over a program and getting immediate success. And in her young tenure there, she really has them looking how she is as a person. Like, she's dynamic, she's feisty, she's kind of a bulldog. And I felt like they embodied that this year. They have a nice matchup against Iowa State. Talk about a matchup in the paint. You've got got Audie Crooks for Iowa State that just does damage inside. One of the best scorers in the country, averaging over 20 points per game. And then for Syracuse, a young freshman in the post, Uche Izoje. She was the Rookie of the Year in the ACC, does her damage inside. So I feel like that game is going to be won in the paint. I have played in an 8-9 game at Syracuse and been the 9 seed and have not liked the outcome of that game. So I'm hoping that they can turn things around. But I'm confident about my Orange going into that matchup.
Yeah.
Jordan, we look at Fairfield.
Yes.
In this side of the bracket, you say, you get a big smile on your face, getting excited about that matchup with Notre Dame. Fairfield leads the country in 3 points per game. Could that, we don't see Cinderellas very often. Remember, if you're new to the women's game, we don't see the same number of upsets or Cinderellas that you may see on the men's side of the tournament, but could that potentially be a bracket buster in the first round?
I mean, just a team, a school named Fairfield just feels like that could be a Cinderella story. Like that is going to break your bracket. But you're going up against Notre Dame, and anytime Hannah Hidalgo is on your TV screen, you want to watch, you have to watch, and it always comes down to taking care of the ball. So you can shoot lights out, but if you turn the ball over or she put it in front of her, she's going to steal it. That's what Notre Dame gets going. That's how they get fired. But like you said, they have Jillian Herter on Fairfield 45% from 3 this season. As a team, they rank top 10 in 3-point shooting and percentages. So if they can get hot, they want a 5-out offense. They let their guards go to work. If they get hot, it could be an upset. I wouldn't be mad at it. That would be fun.
Yeah. It's also a team that's gotten to the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row.
Yes.
So talk about experience. These lights aren't that bright to them. They know what it takes to get here. And I think this time of year, going up against an experienced team like Notre Dame that has gotten to the Sweet 16 the last 3 years in a row, you want to lean on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. And also keep in mind, Fairfield 13 seed 2 years ago, 12 seed last year, 11 seed this year.
Climbing up.
Incremental increase every single year, little improvement every single year. All right, let's move on to our second region, the Sacramento region, that is UCLA's side of the bracket. UCLA the 1, LSU the 2, Duke the 3, Minnesota the 4, and if that's not good enough, let's just go ahead and throw in Ole Miss as the 5. Jordan, your initial impressions of this side of the tournament bracket?
Woo! I mean, that's a whole lot of ballers over there. I mean, what sticks out to me first and foremost as a player to watch is LSU and Michaela Williams. I love watching Michaela Williams play basketball. I think she is so good. She gets to her spots, any spot on the floor, but in particular that mid-range. And when she is on, their whole team just goes. And so I'm looking for her to be that X factor. We know what she can do. She's had a 47-point game as a freshman, 37, last year. I need her to score points, and LSU does that. I don't think they have any problem scoring points. No. So if she gets going, I would love to see them go up against the UCLA and potentially pull that upset. We'll see.
I do want to get into more of that matchup in just a little bit, but as we're talking about some players to watch, I want to go back quickly to our first region in Fort Worth. Cass, as we look at that region, what are some other players to watch, not just in the Sacramento region, but in the Fort Worth region 1 as well?
Fort Worth 1 has some dynamic players. I mean, these are 4 of the top scorers in D1. You have Iowa State's Audie Crooks, Notre Dame's Hannah Hidalgo, Western Illinois' Mia Nicastro, but we're going to talk Sarah Strong and Michaela Blakes, as we mentioned earlier, 2 National Player of the Year contenders, could meet up. I mean, these are 2 sophomores. They're going to be in the WNBA draft lottery at some point. You're going to want to watch them now. And I think for these 2, when you're in March, that's when stars are made, right? You're going to start really seeing these players more coming up, and this could be a true coming out party for them in that matchup.
Yeah, my thought is that all the pressure is probably on Michaela Blakes to show up, because Sarah Strong already has a national championship. And if you were watching last year, she was the reason why UConn secured the national championship.
She was the engine.
As good as AZ was, as good as Paige was, it was Sarah that was the engine, 100% Cass. So I feel like Michaela Blakes, again with the showing that Vanderbilt had in the SEC tournament and getting bumped out early to Ole Miss, they're going to be full steam ahead, and she's going to have something to prove.
Yeah. No doubt. Jordan, if we're going to look at, because we all know Sarah Strong, right, and what she means to that UConn team, what she meant to their run last season. She came alive in the tournament last year. What's maybe another name on UConn's team outside of the Sarah Strongs and the AZ Fuds that you're going to be keeping your eye on?
Well, I love Sarah Williams. I think
Yes.
Sarah Williams being a transfer in to UConn has been huge for them, especially in the post scoring. She has a midi. She has all the things. But UConn is about defense, and this year their defense has been overwhelming for teams. And Sarah Williams being that last line of defense, after you go through AZ, after you go through maybe Sarah Strong, you have Sarah Williams waiting for you at the rim. Good luck. Good luck. So UConn, what they've been able to do this year with all the pieces, it shows this is why they're undefeated. Even a KK Arnold at the top. So many pieces on UConn.
Talk about X factors. That would be mine for the Huskies.
Yes.
Is KK Arnold.
Yeah.
She
KK
started
is
the
on.
season so strong.
She did. She did. And defensively is where she needs to start in terms of her intensity. But they're loaded. They're loaded, Caroline. They're loaded. They could play the whole
UConn.
bench. Yeah, they could play the bench to start the first 3 games of the tournament, and I'd still pick them to be in the Final Four.
They're UConn. I mean, that's really all you need to say there. But obviously, this region is stacked. We have 2 of the best, if not the 2 best players in the country, and Michaela Blakes and Sarah Strong on the Fort Worth 1 side of the bracket. So we're talking about it. Let's pick it. Ice, I will start with you. Who's coming out of that region?
In the Elite 8, I've got UConn and Vandy, and I've got UConn getting to the Final Four. UConn, you can. Not sure I could bet against them.
It's just that simple. Cass?
It's UConn. Same thing. UConn over Vanderbilt. UConn, I'm not going against them now.
Yeah. Jordan?
It's UConn. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to hold you. It has to be.
We're not going to play with you.
We're not going to play with it. And they're going all the way. They're going all the way to the championship for me.
It's just like I wish I could be different. I wish I could
different.
really like.
You don't want to be wrong, girl.
Right.
Oh, that's the thing. I wish I could be different, but I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
So I will be. It'll be a cold day, and you know where when I pick against Ariema and this UConn team. I mean, and it's not just the amount of trust that you can have in this UConn team, the benefit of the doubt that Gino and this UConn team will always get until they prove differently. This offense is so efficient. They don't make mistakes. They don't shoot themselves in the foot. This is just such a perfect team, it feels like. So I'm with everyone. We're in agreement. UConn and Vandy in the Elite 8. Give it to me. I have UConn advancing out of that side of the bracket to the Final Four. So Jordan alluded to it. In this Sacramento 2 region, familiarity can breed contempt, and we may have some familiarity in the postseason coming up in that region. We'll break down what that means coming up next right here on Tourney Bracket Live.
You had 27 points in your 3rd game. What do you remember from that night?
Oh man, it was great. Once the first one drops, I was like, okay, we're good to go. Then the second one, then the third one, and then you get to this mode where it's kind of like unconscious. It feels like practice in a way. It was just like every time I shot it, it was like I was outside playing on just like my mini hoop. You know what I mean? Outside in the front yard. It also, I think, gave my teammates confidence too. Like, damn, he probably can shoot. You know what I mean? So we should get him the ball.
What do you think is your best route, and what is your favorite route to run?
I feel like it's probably like a stop route or something.
That's a good answer.
Like a stop route. My favorite route to run, I like to run digs.
This is from early in your rookie season. That was the best one there, was the dig route. So I think you're doing pretty well there. I like that. Okay, good answer. That was very validating for me personally, and I'm glad that you feel that way. So, okay, you mentioned...
I gave you validation.
You gave me validation, bro.
I like that.
Bro, that's what this is all about.
I like that.
What was your impression of him? Do you feel like you have a friendship with Giannis now?
I feel like he was just my friend. Like, I didn't even see him as just a basketball player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I was just like that's just my guy. Cause we were just chilling. Like, he took me to his home. He took me to his first we did his first dunk in his neighborhood. So like, he was just showing me around, and I think we still check up on each other. I just need to go to one of his games, which I promised him.
Welcome back into Tourney Bracket Live. We're taking a deep dive into the women's side of the tournament. We already looked at the first region. Let's take a deep dive into Sacramento 2, which just might be the deepest and most competitive side of the bracket this year. Of course, we have UCLA, the 1, LSU is the 2, Duke is the 3, Minnesota is the 4. Ice, what are some games to watch in this side of the bracket?
Okay, I'm starting with the 6-11, which is actually going to start with the first 4 because I have Richmond beating Nebraska. Shout out to an A10 squad getting in. So I have Richmond beating Nebraska, and then Richmond would take on Baylor, which I think is going to be a very good matchup. For Baylor, the main guard is Talia Scott. She can give you 20 at any time. She plays so electric with so much flair. They play a nice fast pace at Baylor. Also, did y'all see Brittany Griner stop by practice?
Yes.
I love that she stopped by.
So fun.
I love when we get former players that come back to schools where maybe the coach isn't necessarily there, but they still feel like they're part of the family, which was cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she gave them a couple of championship nuggets from winning at Baylor, but I think that game is going to be good. Richmond, a team that won a tournament game last year, and so they've been here before. They knocked out an ACC opponent last year. And Maggie Dugan, who should be on everybody's radar for WNBA draft because Maggie Dugan is that girl, can score inside, but also is a 40% three-point shooter from the outside. I love that they got in the tournament. I saw their video of them getting in. You could tell that their head coach, Aaron Russell, wasn't sure if they were going to get in and really celebrated. And I think Richmond might have the momentum to make a little noise.
Richmond was a bubble team, but I looked at the bubble and I thought, I need Maggie Dugan in the postseason. Yes. I want to watch Maggie Dugan in March. And Ice, you alluded to, they won a game in last year's tournament. They were also neck and neck with UCLA through halftime. Now, of course, UCLA last season broke away. They did their thing. UCLA did UCLA things. But I think we saw a lot of promise in what that Richmond team could do as long as Maggie Dugan is at the helm. So I love that pick by you. A potential Baylor-Richmond matchup, of course, if Richmond gets through into the field. But Cass, let's look at a team to watch. I know we're going to be talking UCLA, we're going to be talking LSU, we're going to be talking Duke, but what's a maybe deeper cut that people can keep an eye on?
Ice is so excited over here. She's like, do it.
See me leaning in?
Literally on the edge of her seat.
Well, let's go up to New Jersey.
Come on. Talk about my kids. Let's go.
Queen of Jersey over
Queen
here.
of Jersey. Keep an eye on Princeton. You know, the Ivy League has always been the premier mid-major group. Princeton has led the way this year. We've had them ranked in the AP poll quite a bit. I know I have. Madison St. Rose leading that team. Just keep an eye on the Tigers. This is also a team that has had experience a couple of years ago winning games, and as I think has become a theme as we've talked through this bracket, experience matters. Knowing what's going to happen, how this all works. You have a quick turnaround. As soon as you get the bracket, you are hitting the road to a place that you didn't know you were going to hit the road a couple of hours ago. And so when you have that institutional knowledge, it can go a long way in that first game.
Shouts out to the Ivy League.
Yes.
Ivy League.
We are an Ivy League program. Not by degree,
I don't know about
but
that.
just by support.
I'm about to say, I went to
I don't have
Syracuse.
one.
Hold on.
D3.
Yeah. We support it. Didn't necessarily get into one. Jordan, as we look at this region, what's one player that really stands out to you that could make some noise?
Yeah, it's Michaela Williams at LSU. I mean, how she's able to get to her spots, it should be studied because we all know that she's going to get to the free throw line extended, and somehow she still gets there every single time. And when she's on, this LSU team is different. And when you think about how they have an abundance of riches at the guard spot, with Michaela Williams, with Flage, Mylasia Fulwiley coming off the bench, but it's Michaela Williams, when she gets going, they start going. We know she can go off. She's had a 47-point game as a freshman, 37 points before. She can score big. LSU can score big. We know that, over 100 points over and over. But I know this is her last run with Flage. Like, she doesn't have a title. This is the culture around LSU, but she wants one, and you can feel it. This is her last chance to get one. I think she's gonna go all out.
It does feel like in this region, there's a sense of urgency for so many of these teams.
Yeah.
You look at UCLA, Lauren Betts, Kiki Reyes, Gabby Jaquez, all seniors. This is their last opportunity. They've been knocking on the door for a championship, have yet to break through. Same thing with LSU. Flau'jae Johnson started her career in Baton Rouge with a national championship. I'm sure she wants to end it with a national championship. Feels like they have the squad, and I have had the squad over the last couple of years equipped to do it. We're feeling that kind of sense of urgency from Duke as well. They won an ACC tourney, want to cap off the rest of the season. So it just feels like this region has a lot of teams with a lot of expectations, and there's not a whole lot of room for everybody to fit into it.
Totally. I feel that, I saw Kim Mulkey's clip the other day talking about how it takes time to build a championship team and how they felt like the battle that they've had with South Carolina throughout the years has been getting them closer and closer and closer to where they want to go.
A one-sided battle.
A one-sided battle.
If you were
hilarious.
If you were LSU, you were so glad you are high enough on the number 2 seed list that there are principles that keep you away from South Carolina.
They're like, oh, thank goodness.
If I'm LSU, I would rather play the Oklahoma City Thunder than South Carolina. It is
odds are against you.
The odds are against
19 games in a row.
It's the Achilles heel for this LSU team.
Oh my gosh.
There's also Duke. I want to say that I like the committee. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but we've got high-powered offense in UCLA, double high-powered offense in LSU, and then we've got defense. You've got Ole Miss and Duke over there. It's going to make for some very good games stylistically to see which team can dictate on what side of the basketball. I am very excited for this region because I feel like it's going to be get your popcorn and watch. Are the superstars going to score, or is defense going to take over and it's going to be a low-scoring affair, but Duke may come out on top?
Are you taking Duke out of this region?
I am. I'm taking Duke out of this region. I have UCLA and Duke in the Elite Eight. I have Duke beating LSU in the Sweet 16, and I have Kara Lawson's Duke Blue Devils in the Final Four.
We need to check your temperature after.
Whoa.
Yeah,
You're like running.
If I had pearls, I would clutch them. My goodness.
So Jordan, who do you have coming out of this region?
I have UCLA. I think the conversations around UCLA is always, do we believe them? Do we believe that this team is going to make it far to the championship, to the Final Four? I think they make it to the Final Four, but that's where their road stops. But I do have them coming out of this region.
Cass?
I have UCLA, but same. I think where I have it lined up is UCLA and LSU. And I think if LSU plays a good game, if all the guards are hitting, Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams spoke in the locker room after that SEC tournament loss and were just very despondent and determined to be the leaders here. So if they can all get on the same page, I think LSU could beat UCLA. It'd be the third time that they're meeting in the tournament in a row, and they've split the last 2.
Yeah, they all need to be on the same page. I think the thing we've seen about LSU is sometimes they get 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah.
So it might be Michaela and it might be Mylasia, but then Flau'jae is not in double figures.
Yeah.
To me, Flau'jae is the X factor. We know how bright of a superstar she can be, but she needs to show up as a superstar in this tournament. If it's just Mylasia and Michaela, they don't have enough to beat a heavy hitter or a heavyweight game after game. And that's what it takes to get to the Final Four. You got to take down 2 heavyweights and do it convincingly.
I do want to see maybe some other teams that we feel like could be ready for this tournament time. It is now time to see which team is crafted for the moment, presented by the new Acura ADX. All right, we will start with you, Jordan. What is one team, maybe a team that's a little bit off the radar, that you think is crafted for the moment?
I gotta go with Arizona State here because this season, whether they make it a deep run or not, they're in the first 4. This is a win for them because they were able to not only double their wins from last season and a first-year coach. That never happens. Molly Miller coming from Grand Canyon, what she was able to do, emphasizing defense. They were able to win 24 games, where 10 wins were the year before.
Wow.
Big jump. They started 15-0. They had one of the best starts in program history. And even if the road ends here, they have a lot to be happy about. So I'm going ASU. Shout out to those Sun Devils.
Ooh, I love that pick by you.
Me too. It's been fun to watch Molly Miller from afar. I have not had the pleasure of covering her or covering their games, but she brings an energy, and it feels like her her players love to be around her.
They love her.
And that makes a difference in this day and age. You need players coaches right now in NIL era, and I feel like she's bringing people with her. And to be honest, she looks like a player too. She does. She looks like she's out there and could be hooping and dishing.
Drop the skincare routine. Cass, who is crafted for the moment for you?
Ice, have you heard of South Dakota State?
Okay, Cass. We were friends before that. No, I'm kidding.
But no, Ice, because they are a dangerous team in March.
Yes.
They are my pick. They've won some games recently in March. Brooklyn Meyer, as a senior, contributes heavily to that team. Now, this team hasn't done super well against the Power 4 teams that they've faced this year, but the Summit League really tested them. I was impressed with a lot of the teams there, and I think anytime you see SDSU on this bracket, you need to look into them carefully.
Yeah, Jackrabbits are dangerous. And look at that record, 27-6. They haven't experienced much losses. In fact, they know how to pull out games and win. I love that you highlighted Brooklyn Meyer because she's an undersized post player, but still finds a way to score against those Power 4 schools when they do play them. The difference for South Dakota State this year is going to be the three-point shooting. If they can stretch the floor, maybe make 10 threes in a game, I could see them pulling off an upset and knocking somebody out of a possible Sweet 16 opportunity, which we'll just keep talking about before I get PTSD. I'm upset.
We're gonna allow Ice to just cool down a little
flowing
bit.
back. Gosh.
Yeah.
We told them not to put us next to each other.
Yes.
Vibes a little bit better because my team that I think is crafted for the moment is West Virginia. And maybe it doesn't feel like a crazy deep cut because they are a 4 seed. There will be games in Morgantown to start the tournament, but I feel like West Virginia isn't being talked about like they are the Big 12 champions. They're not being talked about by taking down TCU in the Big 12 championship. We're not talking about West Virginia like they didn't just end the season on a 6-game winning streak. We're not talking about West Virginia like they have 5 or 6 players on any given night that can score in double digits. This West Virginia team is deep. This West Virginia team can be incredibly tricky. And like we talked about earlier, when you win your conference tournament, or if you go on a run in your conference tournament, you beat a team that you didn't think that you were supposed to beat, that kind of buy-in, that kind of confidence, that kind of sense of we're playing with house money and we're just happy to be here, that can be incredibly dangerous in the month of March. But Ice, let's get your crafted for the moment team. Who are you shouting out?
I'm going with 11 seed Rhode Island Rams, another A-10 pick, because I'm biased, and I'm just going to tell you about it. But there's a couple reasons why I'm going with the Rams. One, because of their record. They've lost 4 games this season, and that's real deal. 2, because they had a big non-conference win, which is their quad 1 victory versus NC State. That's a 7 seed in this tournament. So they have played teams to the caliber that they're going to see. 3, because of Tammy Reese, a head coach that as a player went to 3 Final Fours with Dawn Staley, and so she's got that winning championship DNA. I think she can pass that along to her players, but they're a feisty group that plays with 2 point guards, which means they get great shot selection. They generate the best shot every single time down the floor. I think they're an underdog, and to be honest though, if I know Alabama like I do, they are not overlooking them. I think everybody is well aware of how good the Rams could be.
I like that.
That is who we think is crafted for the moment this March, presented by the new Acura ADX, crafted for more. Okay, let's put a bow on Sacramento 2 and move on to Fort Worth 3. As we look in this region, Cass, what's a first round game that you're keeping an eye on in Texas' side of the bracket? Oh no.
My gosh.
Cass is
Sigh.
having a moment.
You okay, friend?
Sigh.
No, I'm not, because I had to sit in Greenville and watch Tennessee do I don't even know what. We have to talk about
what they didn't do.
Exactly. They didn't do a lot. They dribbled into a lot of double and triple teams in the paint. Why? I don't know. There were open shooters. There was no transition game. The press was just a game to them, not working at all.
I love analyst Cass. This is good. This is good. Tell me more.
It's just sigh after everything.
I know. I mean, that explains Tennessee's season. We're just
really
big
does.
sigh.
It's a sigh.
We're not mad, we're just disappointed.
Yes.
That's what it is. That is exactly what
I feel like I was watching the episodes of One Tree Hill where Nathan and Lucas Scott don't get along and they all hate each other on the court.
Aww.
And that's not a good sign for Tennessee, but this is a 7-10 matchup. It's a rematch of, I think, the very first weekend, the first game for them, which was close. I think there's a very good possibility that NC State blows this out of the water. Tennessee just is not on the same page, is not running like a team, and I think they're just ready to end it.
Yeah. It should be a good matchup stylistically, but they are dealing also with some off-court issues, which makes it seem like at this point in the season, how can you make sure that everyone is on one accord? On the other side of it, I don't know the last time we've seen Westmore and NC State be anything less than a 4 seed. I mean, it has been a long time since they haven't been hosting this time of year, so they're also probably going to come into it with a little chip on their shoulder. You know the difficulties that Tennessee has had this season. I also think the Wolfpack will wolf the pack.
Wasn't that long ago that they were in the Final Four?
I thought
Thank you.
Very darling.
Very different. Very different.
Tennessee, I think fair to say, going into next season with some big time question marks. Whatever the tournament looks like for them upcoming, some big time question marks as Kim Caldwell heads into her 3rd season next year. Okay, Jordan, what's a team that you have your eye on in this side of the bracket?
I am going to go Michigan here, but it's not really the players on the court. It's going to be the style from Kim Barnes-Arico because she be throwing fits. And I can't wait to see her tournament tennis shoes with the sweaters. They're so good. But besides that, the fits will be thrown. But on the court, what Michigan has been able to do, led by sophomores, which I think is just a huge storyline throughout this whole tournament. Sophomores are balling out of control. That 2028 WNBA draft, oh my God, it's gonna be so good. Silas Swords, Olivia Olson, they are so good at just controlling the pace of the game. That's what you get from a Michigan game. They're gonna run it up, they're gonna run it fast, or they're gonna slow it down. They are in control and in the driver's seat each time.
Because I know you were high on Silas Swords as well.
I love Michigan. I appreciate Kim Barnes-Arico. Her fits are popular, so I second that.
Yes.
What I like about them is the versatility they can play with. What they are missing that everybody knows they're missing is a clear 5 player. They do not have a player that can be in the paint, play back to the basket, and really be a deterrence for those to come inside and drive against them. But what they have is length. On all the sophomores that they have, 4 of them averaging double figures. They've got length and they've got size. Silas Swords, though, is the X factor. I think about a game early in the season versus UConn. The only close game that UConn played this season, a 3-point game, and Silas Swords was lethal from 3. She really has the clutch gene. This is a player that has played Canadian basketball, senior Canadian basketball, and so she's already playing against WNBA caliber players. But if Silas Swords isn't scoring 20 points for Michigan, they don't have a chance to advance. She has to do her damage and be the main offensive focal point in order for them to score. I love Olivia Olson, but Olson is a get down kind of like dirty player in the paint that can get her own or on her own. She doesn't need a play. You got to run plays for Silas Swords to get looks from 3.
Oh yeah.
So who are we taking out of this region? Jordan, we will start with you. Who's your pick?
Well, I actually wrote UConn down here at first somehow. I'm like, UConn's gonna win.
You're seeing UConn everywhere.
Even where they're not playing, they're gonna win.
They're gonna win. No, I scratched it out, and I have Texas. I mean, we talked about it so much of Madison Booker and what this Texas team, but also Rory Harmon. I love her as a point guard. Vic Schaefer loves her. He has trust in her. We saw it a couple games this season where he benched her in the 4th quarter because he knew that wasn't the type of player that she is. She wasn't playing up to her potential. Now it's tournament time. All that's out the window.
Yeah.
He's gonna ride with his point guard, and they're gonna get them this far.
Yeah.
Do we all have Texas?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
All right.
I was going to say,
What do they say there? Praise the Lord, hook 'em horns.
Yep, that kind of feels like how this
Vic
bracket is
Schaefer's
going.
move.
today.
Are you going to walk out?
Everybody, I know, right? What I will say, though, is before Texas gets to the Final Four, I have them going through Louisville. I do believe that Louisville could knock out Michigan in a 2-3 game if both teams get there and advance. And I think Louisville could knock out Michigan.
I do too.
I view this
Cardinals
side-
by committee too.
Another sophomore.
Jeff Walls?
Very.
Yes, yes. So good. So much fun to watch.
Yes.
I view this side of the bracket like a swan. Like Texas is going to be on top of the water, looking all beautiful, and then underneath it, at the bottom of the bracket, it's just going to be a bunch of chaos as the swans just like paddling underneath the water. So Texas, I also have Texas coming out of this side of the bracket with some chaos.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yes.
Come on.
Thank you. Do not go anywhere. We still have another side of the bracket to look at. Plus, legends are made in March. So whose draft stock could benefit the most from a run in the postseason? We'll get into that coming up on the other side.
how can I sit here in one breath and say the sport is broken when it looks like the audience is more pleased with the sport than ever?
It's not broke. It's just we've been drinking out of a fire hose for 3 years. But it can't just be pay them, kick them off the team, next guy, next team. I worry about these kids' long-term health and what they're going to do with their lives when they're 26 and 27, when they have no roots at any university.
James Rodriguez is reportedly joining Minnesota United. The main thing as a fan of the league, I would just be excited to see him play. And then Minnesota against NYCFC, get to go see James. And what if that game is at Citi Field, bro? Queens is going to lose their mind.
It's going to go nuts. Astoria and Jackson Heights will be empty. There will be 3 Uruguayans, 4 Argentinians, and 6 Mexicans in all of Jackson Heights going, what the hell's going on? Where is everybody?
Admittedly, I'm a huge fan of Travis Hunter as a prospect. Do you have any sense of what his growth is going to be like, where he might be playing more and more, what his role is going to look like, especially on the offensive side?
The way he is, his personality, I think this injury in rookie year is only going to just make him better. He was starting to really get going on offense, and we were starting to click. So who knows what the rep count looks like, but I know he's a special receiver when he gets the ball in his hands.
Welcome back into Tourney Bracket Live. Cassandra, Negley, Ice, young Jordan Robinson, Caroline Fenton hanging out with you as we look at the women's NCAA tournament bracket. I do want to break down Sacramento 4, but first, Cass, I want to look at some players that we're going to be looking at in the W next season. Ideally, hopefully, keeping our fingers crossed. The last couple of years,
everybody cross.
Everybody
just need to get
fingers
this.
crossed.
Please.
Thank you.
Please.
We knew who the #1 overall pick was going to be over the last couple of years. We knew it was going to be Paige Beckers. We knew it was going to be Caitlin Clark. Who can boost their draft stock the most in this year's tournament?
Yeah, it's very much fit, and there are some international players, but if we're talking about the tournament specifically, let's talk about Lauren Betts. 6'7" big. She has a frame that any front office is going to want. I mean, you can't design that in a lab. You can't work on that. She does all of her damage in the paint, ranks in the 99th percentile in paint points for 40 minutes, 18.7 of her 24.3. And that's kind of maybe the downside of Lauren Betts. She doesn't have a great outside shot. She hits pretty well from the left elbow, but that's about it. Her passing has really improved in the past couple of years, and that's why UCLA is so good, because she can kick out. But in the WNBA right now, you do need an outside shot to be a weapon like that. So she could possibly really show that in this tournament, or just moving forward in the W.
Yeah. I'm looking for Lauren to assert her dominance. I feel as though there have been some games that, because UCLA is so deep and because they're so versatile, she doesn't always have to get a double-double. She doesn't always have to drop 20 points in the paint and really make her mark. Yeah. But it's tournament time, baby, right? You got to survive in advance. And so I'm looking for her to really assert her dominance inside. I think there's a question mark maybe next to the level of physicality that Lauren Betts likes to play at. And we know at the next level, the 5 players in the W bang the most. I mean, it is a game that is centered around centers and post players. And so I think she has something to prove in terms of her mentality with her playing these games, but how much she can decide, I'm just going to go and get 20 and 10 and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Other than Lauren, who's another player that you think could really help themselves in the WNBA draft?
Yeah, going with a guard, Flau'jae Johnson. Flau'jae Johnson. I believe that she needs to have a tournament in which she doesn't have any drop off in any games. Every game she's bringing it, every game she's scoring in double figures, and she's consistent in that. There have been games throughout her career in which she's been on the brightest stages and the brightest lights, and she has not shown up or performed, or other teams have simply said, if we limit Flau'jae, we can make sure that we beat LSU. And I actually believe that that's the key. When they limit Flau'jae, it does not look like the same well-oiled machine. But I think Flau'jae has a terrific opportunity to boost her draft stock to where she is a for sure top 5 pick with the way that she can score the basketball from the 2 position and also defend. But to me, she is a big question mark going into this of what can we get from Flau'jae Johnson? Is she going to be somebody that's going to get to training camp and just be there, or is she going to be someone that we can insert right away to a team that's trying to win games? That's what she can solidify right now in our tournament.
Yeah, I think that we're still riding high from her as a freshman.
Yes.
And her making that run for the national championship, we want to see that again. That was a long time ago. So I think that's like still adding to her draft stock somehow.
Yeah.
And we want to see what she can do for us lately, what she can do now.
Yes, and she wasn't the main superstar in that.
Yeah.
You know, in this one, will you be the main superstar?
Come to the front.
And win your team a national championship.
Yeah.
It's what she can do for her draft stock. It's what she can do for her team,
Yes.
too, as they are going through the Dukes and the UCLAs and their side of the bracket. Jordan, who's another player that you think could totally boost their draft stock moving forward?
I have to go AZ Fudd here. I mean, I still have her as the #1 pick. I think that she should be, because when we talk about what WNBA GMs want, they want a shooter.
Yeah.
You can add that to any team. You can build around that. And her efficiency is just through the roof. Nobody is shooting the ball like AZ Fudd is. And also her leadership. When I talked to AZ Fudd a few months ago, I had her do an elevator pitch. I was like, you have an MBA. Like, tell me how would you classify yourself to WNBA GMs? And she went down the line. She was like, I'm a shooter, I can play defense, I'm working on my rebounding, but I am also going to provide a voice in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I know that there are a lot of teams, when we look at Dallas, you need some leadership, you need some more of that adding to your locker room. So AZ, by far, to me, is that #1 pick.
Dallas needs everything.
They
Leadership,
do.
Dallas
post
catching
play,
all these
shooting. They do. Dallas needs everything.
When it comes to AZ, though, her staying that 5th year instead of exiting last year has already, I think, helped her draft stock.
Yes.
And she can help it even more in this run, because Paige Beckers is not there, and that does matter in terms of that leadership component.
Let's break down our 4th and final region in Sacramento. 4, South Carolina, the 1, Iowa, TCU, and Oklahoma rounding out the top 4 seeds in that side of the bracket. Ice, what's the biggest storyline that stands out to you as we look at Sac 4?
Yeah, I'm putting a little pressure on the 3 seed TCU, a team that made an electric run last year with Haley Van Lith and Mark Campbell as the head coach. And now there's a different point guard in town. It's Olivia Miles, the triple-double machine. But can they get as far as last year? Could they get back to an Elite 8? I had the pleasure of covering them in Dallas last year. Were we in Dallas last year? I think it was in Dallas last year.
Sounds right.
I know, that was a long time ago, to be honest. Yeah, but somewhere warmer.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. There we go.
Yeah, we were in Birmingham.
Thank you. Well, I'm in Dallas this year, and so I'm excited to watch those teams. But seriously, I think that them getting to an Elite 8 could be an awesome storyline, because then you look at Mark Campbell totally different. Now it's like you've taken 2 really good guards, elevated their game from the point guard position, and won with the system and the formula that you have. And I'm also pulling for Olivia Miles. I think one of the best stories in the game of basketball sometimes is when a player experiences success at a school like a Notre Dame, but then it's not quite what they're looking for. It's not quite the right fit. And she's gone somewhere else and really decided to up her level of play. And so I'm rooting for the Jersey girl. Shocker.
Wow.
Jordan, do you think TCU can get to the Elite 8?
I think they can.
Thank you, Jordan.
I really do.
I liked you, Jordan.
Yeah, I
Come
do.
on.
I really think they can. But it's Olivia Miles, and when we talk about draft stock, she needs to solidify that she is the best point guard in this draft. Like, she needs to make sure that is without a doubt. But I'm going to go Marta Suarez is going to be a huge X factor for TCU. The first time I saw her play, she was at Tennessee, was at Cal, now she's at TCU. I said, that is a pro. Like, she is pro ready. Her build, her efficiency, she's averaging career highs across the board this season. And I think she's trying to prove that her draft stock needs to go up as well. So collectively, they're trying to win some games and also be on the brighter stage to show GMs what they can do.
I think the last thing I'll say about TCU is there's a bad taste in their mouth knowing that West Virginia stole the Big 12 championship.
For
and
sure.
So I think they're going to come in with a little bit more momentum in this tournament because they've got a little bit more to prove than just they're as good as they are.
Coming in a little bit
Use
angry.
anything you can.
Yes.
After the wild that was the Big 12 this past
Wild.
season.
Wild.
Guys, I'm looking at some of the spreads as we go into these games. Looking at the 8-9 Clemson USC. USC, even though as the 9 in that matchup, are still 6.5-point favorites. break that game down for me that we'll see in the first round?
Well, I think this one will be interesting, first and foremost, because it is an 8-9, so we like that. But let's talk about USC. Juju Watkins, about a year ago, tears her ACL, is still rehabbing. So keep that in mind when you fill out your bracket. But Jazzy Davidson, the freshman there, I mean, they are going to be building something for the future, giving her a lot of time in that spot. But I want to talk about Clemson, because I feel like this is a team that the last couple of years have been good for one ACC upset. They come close, they finally break through, they get an ACC upset. This year, they upset Duke late in the season, which causes us some concern about what the Blue Devils are doing. Sean Poppy is in his couple of seasons in. He led Chattanooga to 2 NCAA tournaments with those automatic bids. I think you want to keep an eye on Clemson moving forward. So that's a matchup that, you know, maybe isn't super exciting, we'll see, but moving forward, you're going to want to keep an eye on those two teams.
Yeah, I actually have Clemson advancing in that one. I think they can get it done.
Me too.
Come on.
USC next year, though, when Juju Watkins comes back, healthy, USC is going to be a terrifying team to watch.
Yes.
I'm going to keep an eye on one more player that I'm keeping my eye on. I'm looking at the 7 seed Georgia and Danny Carnegie.
Love that.
Georgia's not necessarily in the top tier of the SEC. We wouldn't say that by any stretch of the imagination, but what Georgia is incredibly tricky. I mean, Georgia was able to beat Vandy fairly late in the season, and Danny Carnegie had 29 points in the effort. So Georgia, although not a team that we're going to be talking a whole lot about, a team that I think could potentially bust some brackets moving forward. All right, we've been talking about this side of the bracket. Let's go ahead and pick this side of the bracket. Cass, who do you have coming out of Sac 4?
South Carolina. I mean, I don't think you can go against them. And also, when you lose the SEC title game like they did, and you have Dawn Staley telling you something like, hey, last time we did this, we won a national title. You back that up.
You know what I say this time of year.
I do. I didn't take it from you.
In Dawn, we trust. In Dawn, we trust. Yes. I like the Elite 8 potential matchup, though, of South Carolina and Iowa. I actually have Iowa beating TCU, which I had to pick with my gut a little bit because I think I could see both sides. I know I could see both sides, but I really think that Iowa-South Carolina game could be really good. Talk about post players inside. Yes. And Jan Jensen for Iowa doing a terrific job. One of my favorite coaches to cover in this game is Jan Jensen.
She's so lovely.
Seems like she's been there. Well, she has been there forever, but even in this head coaching role, she's really dominating. I'm also going to go South Carolina because in Dawn we trust, but also in Tournament Tessa we trust because we know what Tessa is going to do this time of year. And when you have a winner, a gamer like Raven Johnson, you're never out of it. So yes, I have South Carolina coming out of here.
I also have South Carolina coming out this side of the bracket. And look, if you're a South Carolina fan, you booked a non-refundable ticket to Phoenix for the Final Four back in August. And you feel pretty good about that. So we all have South Carolina coming out of that region. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've been talking a lot about it. We've been picking our sides of the bracket. So let's put our money where our mouths are. We will pick our Final Four and our national championship picks coming up in just a moment.
It's time for the NBA to demote the old guard and promote the new guard. The NBA, they love scheduling Warriors and Lakers and LeBron and Steph and all these stars that we've had in our life for over a decade, since many of us were kids. And it's great that we have this generation still in the NBA, but Anthony Edwards is box office, and maybe make a little space for this new generation.
One that I've been having a lot of fun with recently is Gronk. So I'm here on Yahoo Sports Daily, and if it wasn't every day, then it would be called Yahoo Sports Weekly. You know, like if it wasn't live, it would be Yahoo Sports Taped, like that kind of stuff. So that's the thing about Seattle, is they call themselves the 12th man, and that's one more player than you're allowed to have on the field. So LA's going to have to account for another player that they're not used to.
Who are some of the other like UFC combat sports golfers that we might not know about? Like who's sneaky good?
You know what, man? I don't think there really is anybody else. Daniel Cormier is starting to play. He's absolutely
How's his game?
awful.
Oh,
he's
no.
awful. He talks so much trash. He is so bad. But I tell you what, though, he is an athlete, and he's just like golf's like anything. The more you do it, the better you get.
Welcome back in to Tourney Bracket Live on the Yahoo Sports Network. Ice Young, Cassandra Negley, Jordan Robinson, Caroline Fenton. We've been breaking down the brackets. Let's pick those brackets. Jordan, we will start with you. Your Final Four, National Championship, and National Champion pick.
Okay, well, this isn't as sexy with any upsets, so I'm going all chalk here, and we're going UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, and Texas. But they're going to be really great games when we get to the Final Four. And I have UConn winning really because I don't have anyone beating them. I can't even imagine what would happen. They would have to completely fall apart for that to happen. They have not made mistakes. They are so efficient. They run like drill sergeants, that program. So I have UConn going back to back for the first time in a long time.
Ice, you disagree?
I do.
Whoa.
I do disagree.
All right, let's hear why.
I know.
Let's hear
Earlier in the
why.
show, I said don't bet against UConn. Don't listen to me now. Okay. My Final Four. I do have the Huskies there, obviously. I have South Carolina, because in who we trust?
Dawn.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have Duke in the Final Four. Come on, Duke. Down with the defense in Duke. And then I've also got Texas. In the final, I've got UConn and Texas. And we're going to hook them horns this year. I think this is a year that Vic Schaefer gets his first national championship.
It feels like Vic's been knocking on the door enough at some point.
He has.
I want to see him break through.
Yeah.
Somebody with the caliber of Vic Schaefer. In my Final Four, I'm also going chalk. I'm going all the ones in the Final Four. I know that's not very fun. Even less fun is who I have in my national championship game. It's UConn and UCLA. Have we forgotten that UCLA has only lost one game this season, people? And it was over Thanksgiving. Let's give the Bruins a little bit of credit here, but yeah, I will I will not count against UConn. Cass, who's your Final Four?
I have all the one seeds, as we know. I have UConn
No, you
and
don't.
Texas. Yes, I do.
Cass, go ahead, friend.
Hold on here.
Sorry, I thought she was going to spice it up for me.
I did spice it up because I rethought our conversation last night. Okay, I had UConn beating Texas in the national championship game. I was thinking about it more. I've been riding Texas all year. I'm going to stick with them. Rory Harmon, veteran point guard. Madison, book guard, insanely deep. Their paint pressure. Vic Schaefer. This is a fun team. They finally take down South Carolina. I'm going to roll with Texas, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
We're going to throw a party at my house if we both get this right. It's going to be great. It's going to be great because we're on the Texas
in New
side over
Jersey?
here.
I'm thinking of your Duke-Texas game and how that's probably going to be 5-4. Like, that is just all defense. Yes. That's not going to be a pretty offensive
You're absolutely
First
right.
one to 40.
First
you
one to
go
40.
to the title
We're
game.
getting out of here. You're absolutely right.
That's not going to be the type of game that I show people, like if I'm trying to get them into it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going to be the game that I'm going to show them. Although I had UConn and UCLA in my national championship game, I want UConn Texas. I want to see those two styles kind of clashing. I want to see Vic Schaefer's defense. I want to see UConn's flawless offense.
Yes.
I would love to see those two in the national championship game, but we've got two UConn picks against two Texas picks.
Oh.
We've got our own little Final Four matchup going on
I feel like we
between
can
the
come up
show.
with a bet off air.
I'm not betting against UConn, so let's go.
But don't forget, everybody watching, that you can get in on the action. So sign up to play Yahoo's Bracket Mayhem. Fill out your bracket at yahoofantasy.com/bracket mayhem. For Cassandra Negley, for Ice Young, for Jordan Robinson, I am Caroline Fenton. Thanks for hanging out with us right here on the Yahoo Sports Network.
This is